In 1812, many Americans believed Canada would fall in weeks. They were certain of it. They were wrong. On this channel, we tell history as it actually unfolded, not as legends, not as slogans, but as systems, decisions, and consequences slowly colliding. This isn't just a story about a failed invasion. It's about why the United States never absorbed Canada, and how discipline, restraint, and structure quietly defeated ambition. At the start of the 19th century, the United States was restless. American politicians convinced themselves that Canadian settlers, many of them recent American migrants, would welcome invasion. The logic seemed airtight. No grand armies required. No long campaigns, just pressure. Former President Thomas Jefferson famously believed the conquest of Canada would be a matter of marching. That assumption shaped everything that followed. The United States entered the War of 1812 without a unified command structure, without a professional standing army, without a clear plan beyond confidence. The system itself was fragile. Militia units answered to states, not federal command. Officers were appointed through politics, not experience. Supply chains were improvised. Yet Washington believed speed would compensate for preparation. Canada, by contrast, looked weak only on paper. British North America had fewer soldiers, yes, but it had something else: cohesion. Its commanders understood the land. Its defenses were layered. Its strategy was defensive, not ambitious. And critically, it did not expect quick victory. The war's first major decision was simple: attack immediately. 3 separate American invasions were planned, from Detroit, from Niagara, from Lake Champlain. The idea was simultaneous pressure, overwhelm before Britain could react. In theory, this should have worked. In practice, it exposed every weakness. At Detroit, General William Hull hesitated. His supply lines were fragile, his militia unreliable. British forces, led by Isaac Brock, moved faster not because they had more men, but because they had clarity. Brock understood something Hull did not. Perception could replace numbers. Through controlled movement, Indigenous alliances, deliberate psychological pressure, Brock convinced Hull that resistance was hopeless. Detroit fell without a major battle. It wasn't just a loss of territory, it was a loss of initiative. For the first time, the invasion no longer felt inevitable, and once inevitability disappears, systems begin to crack. Across the frontier, similar patterns emerged. American officers argued. Militia units refused to cross borders, claiming constitutional limits. Timetables collapsed. In contrast, British and Canadian forces avoided reckless counterattacks. They did not chase glory. They conserved strength. Local militias were used defensively, protecting key points rather than seeking decisive engagements. Indigenous nations, fighting to preserve their own lands, disrupted American movement and intelligence. This wasn't chaos defeating order. It was patience defeating impulse. The United States had numbers, it had resources, but it lacked alignment. Every failed assault made the next one harder. Every delay allowed Britain to reinforce. When American forces finally crossed the Niagara River in force, they won battles but failed to exploit them. Commanders hesitated. Supplies lagged. Coordination dissolved. Victories became isolated moments instead of strategic shifts. Meanwhile, the British system absorbed losses and adapted. When American troops burned York, modern-day Toronto, it shocked Canadian civilians. Instead of breaking morale, it hardened it. The war transformed from a border dispute into a struggle for survival. That shift mattered, because wars are not won by armies alone. They are won by societies willing to endure. By 1814, the balance had changed completely. Napoleon was defeated. British veterans crossed the Atlantic. The same empire that once seemed distracted now focused its full attention on North America. American hopes of conquest vanished. Instead, the United States found itself defending its own territory. Washington burned. The Atlantic coast was blockaded. Canada, however, remained intact, not because it dominated the battlefield, but because it never needed to. British strategy was never about conquering the United States. It was about denying American objectives. And in that, it succeeded. When peace negotiations began in Ghent, neither side could claim decisive victory. Borders returned to their pre-war lines. But outcomes are not measured only in maps. America failed to take Canada, and that failure became permanent. The War of 1812 quietly shaped North America for centuries. Canada did not become American. Instead, it developed its own identity defined in part by resistance to invasion. The United States learned painful lessons. Professional armies matter. Logistics decide campaigns. Confidence without structure invites disaster. Future American wars would reflect those lessons for better and worse. And Britain learned something too. That restraint, when aligned with strategy, can defeat ambition. The war did not produce sweeping territorial change, but it locked in a future. Two nations, one border, unbroken. Not by accident, but by systems that rewarded patience over impulse. History doesn't always turn on great victories. Sometimes it turns on what never happens. The United States never took Canada, and because of that, North America became what it is today. If you want more stories like this, where decisions matter more than legends, consider subscribing, and tell me in the comments what moment in history should we examine next.